Hey you, yes you, see all these wonderful people right here? They are my Patreons. With the support I get from them, I can afford to do my passion as a career and bring you guys weekly videos. Want to join them? For just $1 a month, you can get videos 24 hours before anyone else, and for even higher tiers, you can get Polaroids, letters, and mystery boxes from me to you, and even Fursuit parts, not to mention my eternal thanks. So what are you waiting for? Become a Patreon today via the link in the description. Thanks again, enjoy the video. Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new tutorial video, this time featuring my own pattern. But Sky, I hear you ask, haven't you already done one of those? Yes, I did. However, I don't like the look of these anymore, so we are going to make a brand new pattern. I first start cutting out the pattern. You can buy this pattern yourself off of my Etsy right now, or you can make your own, that's up to you. I separate all the pattern pieces and get ready to start cutting fur. At this point, I realise I forgot to cut out the centre of my paw padded pieces. This will be useful as it will help us get the right shape for our paw pads later on. I trace the pad shape as well as the pattern shape onto short fur. The pieces we want to be short are our finger pieces for both top and bottom, and the palm piece for the paws. If you don't have short fur, you can trace all your short pieces onto longer fur and shave down the section of fur as a whole before you cut it out to get a similar effect. Trace your pieces with the printed side down. I use small lettering to mark what finger is which, IL for inner left, and so on. You want to trace 2 of each pattern piece. And repeat the same for the finger pieces. Now we cut out these pieces with seam allowance. You can leave as much as is comfortable for you and trim it later, but I prefer about 1/2 centimetre of allowance for my sewing machine. If you're hand sewing, leave about 1/4 centimetre. Now I grab my wrist and back of hand pieces and trace and cut onto my fur, noting the fur direction and matching it with the pieces. I grab my claw material and fold a section in half with soft sides together and trace around 8 of my claw pieces, leaving the bottom open. First of all, we are going to tackle the paw pads. I'm using a sparkle vinyl for these paws, but you can use minky or whatever fabric strikes your fancy. I do my paw pads by cutting out a section from my vinyl larger than my fingerpiece and placing them under my machine with both wrong sides pointing up, and then straight stitch around my paw pad outline. If you find your machine is struggling to take the vinyl, use a small amount of flour or baby powder on the vinyl to help it catch less in your machine. I don't pin these because I just haven't found it necessary, but you can if you feel the need to. Repeat this process with all of your pieces. Now we start removing the excess fabric away from our stitches. If using a fabric like vinyl, I like to leave about 1/4 centimeter around the stitches as I think it looks nicer, but if you're using minky with the intention to stuff the pads later, I recommend removing as much as you can without popping seams. If you would like a cleaner finish, you can use a satin stitch or zigzag stitch with a short stitch length to applique the edges of your pads. I decided against this due to the nature of the fabric I was using. Repeat with all of your pads. Now we are going to start on our claws. Take your folded piece and sew along the lines, making sure to backstitch at each start and end, and then cut out each claw with a bit of allowance and cut each one and flip inside out. I stuff each claw with a little bit of polyfill to my desired firmness. Now I start positioning them in the middle of my finger pieces. I clamp in place and check if I'm happy with the location and clamp the rest of the finger closed and sew. You're essentially sewing the V in the piece closed to create a curved 3D piece. I repeat with the remaining 7 fingers. I now start pinning my pad fingers to my palm pieces and sewing along each seam, and repeat the same process with my fingers and back of hand piece. I add one wrist piece to each of the 4 halves of the paws and brush the fur out of the seams. I then begin pinning the 2 halves together, one pad piece with one finger piece, and this is where it can get a little bit tricky when using a machine, so take your time, or hand sew this part if you're not confident on your machine. personally like using an option for your machine to finish with the needle down for this, as it prevents the fabric from sliding out from underneath your presser foot. After I sew both sides together, I check for holes and sew any I spot closed. If you decide you want to stuff your paw pad beans and you're using Minky, now's a good time to do it. Just make a little incision in the back of your paw pads, stuff to your desired firmness, and just sew closed. And then continue on with the rest of the steps. Once both are together, I turn the paws right side out. They're looking awesome. Keep going. I then take a strip of Minky to hem my ends with. This is entirely optional, but I find it gives it a nice finish. Pin the fur sides together around the cuff of your paw and sew with about 1 centimeter of allowance. Then pull it up, fold it in half with backing together, and then fold back down inside your cuff, essentially hiding the raw fabric edge. Then sew around the edge of the fabric inside your cuff. You can use bias tape for this if you'd prefer. I just like using Minky because it's cute and soft. There's more photos of this process in my guide that comes with the purchase of the pattern. Now we are starting on the padding. Grab some lycra or other fabric, most non-hot fabrics will do fine, and trace one of your inner pad fingers the same way we did the claws. So folded fabric, traced 8 times, leaving the bottom open and sewing along the lines. Anyone who has tried to put on lined paws while sweaty can attest it is super difficult. Creating removable padding makes the paws not only easier to wash, but easier to wear too. Cut out your padding and turn inside out. Stuffed to your desired firmness with polyfill and sew closed. You can tuck your seams if you'd like, but I just straight stitch and trim the excess as this will not be seen in the final product. Place the pads inside the fingers and you're done. You have some awesome looking bappers. Great work. Want to make your own? The link to my Etsy for the pattern is down in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below and I'll try to answer as many as I can. This week's fan art feature is MacLeod over on my Discord, who has spoiled me with these headshots of my beans. Thank you so very much. Their socials will be down below, so be sure to check them out, and I will see you all next week.